Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be looking at the movie Mary Poppins Returns. Let's get right into the video. Boom! Alright guys, you know exactly how this goes. We always start with the good stuff. Now if you guys have seen the first Mary Poppins that came out in the 60s, you know that it melds 2D animation with live action, right? And you've seen that. And in this movie they do the same thing, but they take it one step further, where they meld 2D animation with live action with CGI. And the way they do it is just perfect. It looks great. I mean, first of all, the moment I realized in the movie that they were gonna use 2D animation in the 2000s, I was shook. I was like, I didn't think they were gonna do that, but they did, and it worked. And you know, it just brought the magic out of the movie. You know, it just brought the magic back in. And Mary Poppins is, you know, I still have a problem with the Mary Poppins character. I've always had a problem with the Mary Poppins character, always, even from the first movie. And in this movie, I still have a problem with the character. But aside from the character, the way she just brings the magic and gives these kids hope through the 2D animation, and you know, when they go on musicals and they start singing songs, and the magic comes out, and you can feel the magic in the movie. And that's my biggest praise to the movie. It just felt magical in their use of 2D animation, live action, and CGI. Now, the next thing I want to take a look at are the musical choices and the musical sense of the movie. Not the songs. I'll talk about the songs later, but in terms of the musicals and how the music is integrated into the story and the movie. And if you guys know me personally, you know that I only like musicals and action movies when the action and the music propels the story. It moves the story forward. You know, if a song is a good song, sure, it's a good song, but there's no rewatchability factor in there. In fact, at some point it just becomes, you know, noise. It just becomes background noise. The story has to be integrated into these songs. And you know, with musicals that tends to be the case most of the time. But with the original Mary Poppins that came out in the 60s, that was not the case. The songs in the movie did not propel the story forward. And I had that same feeling that was going to happen in this movie going into it. And going into Mary Poppins and coming out, I've got to say the songs completely move the story forward. And I've got a good example of this. And that has to do with the song Trip a Little Light Fantastic, which I think is probably the best song this year, even compared to A Star Is Born. But putting the song aside for a second, does the song integrate into the movie well? And is it a part of the story? Oh yeah, it is. At the beginning of a song, a character feels one way, and at the end of a song, they feel another way. The songs in this movie always have some sort of development to the characters. They either change the characters or move them forward in some sort of, you know, thought or belief. And if that's done well, it's really good. So, strictly talking about how the music is integrated into the movie, it was done very well. Alright, so from what I can tell from you guys don't really like it when I talk about technical stuff, so cinematography, direction, all that kind of stuff. But I'll be brief here. I have to talk about the cinematography and direction in this movie, and I'll just put it into one category: direction and cinematography. The direction in this movie is actually really well done. It's pointed straight. You guys got a stiff direction. It doesn't ever diverge somewhere crazy. The director always has this movie moving forward, right? And that's probably the best thing I can offer to Rob Marshall, who directed this movie. He's got a very good sense of direction, and he knows how to keep the movie paced well and moving forward. Second thing I want to talk about is the cinematography. This is probably, and I've probably said this with Bumblebee, but this probably has the best cinematography of the year so far. And I'll probably stick to my guns. I would probably give this movie an Oscar in cinematography if I had the choice. But you know, with the cinematography in this movie, it just always had a crisp feel to it, where it felt like you're watching a movie in the 60s. And that's something I have to offer this movie. It felt like you're watching a movie back in the day, and I just loved it for that. So guys, direction, cinematography, all great. Let's move forward. Alright guys, it's time to take a look at all the negative aspects of this movie. Let's go right into the negative side of this review. Alright, so my big problem with this movie stems from one source, and there's actually two problems from the same source, and that has to do with the writing. And this movie has I'm not gonna say it's a bad story, but what I am gonna say is that it's a copied story from the first Mary Poppins. It's essentially a remake, and it follows the first Mary Poppins beat for beat. They are copying every single thing from the first movie. And my problem with that is that, one, they're copying the movie, which is, can't you guys make your own movie? And two, this movie doesn't have to exist. There's no new story that they're telling. There was that new lesson that they're teaching. It's not something, despite the only thing that's new about this movie are the actors, the cast, and the way it looks. It looks better because of the CGI today. But aside from that, there's nothing new in this movie. It feels unnecessary. There's no reason for this movie to exist. And that's just my biggest problem with the movie, is that despite the fact that it's a good movie and I probably recommend it, there's no reason for it to exist. This movie gets the $10 deal. Before the video ends, I want to ask you guys a question. And I've had this question in my mind lurking for the past few videos. And from what I can tell with the watch time and the way I'm looking at the video analytics, is that people always click off when I start going in depth into movies. So if you guys comment down below whether or not you want me to go in depth with movie reviews and give you technicalities and go in depth in why I think each thing, maybe even have my videos extend to about 15 to 20 minutes, let me know. Because that's something I would prefer to do, because I like to go in depth and talk about movies fully. But it looks like you guys just want a quick movie review to just watch and then go off to see a movie. If that's the case, let me know. Do you guys prefer 5-minute quick movie reviews, just give you the quick basics, what I like, what I didn't like, whether or not you should go see it? Or do you guys want me to go in depth, talk technicalities, talk about all the little details about the movie, Easter eggs if you want, in a longer video? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll definitely consider that when I'm trying to make my reviews from now on. Anyways guys, have a good day, take care, peace.
First pair of Jordans at 22. Same year I bought a crib too. Now my face in magazines I used to flip through, and my music on all the sites I used to sift through. Remember meeting Nas for the first time, shook his hand and he started quoting my lines.